Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer is on a mission. She wants to know, is your head on straight? In a world gone sideways, Dr. Hoefer provides clarity with balance and structure.
Welcome to Get Your Head on Straight with Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer. Today my guest is Dr. Dr Egan. She and I actually met at Palmer College of Chiropractic in Davenport, Iowa when we went to school together, and that is the birthplace of chiropractic, if you didn't know. Dr. Egan has been in practice for almost 9 years in Nevada, California, where she practices the Blair upper cervical chiropractic technique, as well as NET. She's also super passionate about educating her patients on wellness and nutrition. And today we're going to talk about her love of being a vegan and how she's transformed her personal health and the health of her family through the change in her diet. So welcome to the podcast, Dr. Egan.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yay, I'm so happy to be here too. Actually, what's fun is we're on a little family vacation together and we got to visit the Sequoias yesterday. So we thought we'd take the opportunity to do an interview together since we're hardly ever together in person.
Absolutely. Such a journey to get down here and to have a family break, especially taking away from practice. So definitely worth it to come spend our time with your family.
Yeah, it's been fun. The kids have been swimming in the pool. And yesterday I got to check a big thing off my bucket list, which was to go see the General Sherman tree. It's the oldest and tallest and biggest tree in the world. And just walking in that forest with those trees and the serenity of it all, it was what my soul needed.
Absolutely. Being in nature is definitely a huge element for me, and just being in my element there, grounding. And we were talking before about how it just allows us to step back and really be humble with who we are as humans, and just with something so gigantic in the gigantic sequoias.
Yeah, it was amazing. And if you haven't been to the Sequoia National Forest, it's something I would highly recommend doing because there's just so much peace in that place. And, you know, we learn about earthquakes, we learn about fires, we learn about floods, and we think, wow, these are catastrophes. But what I read yesterday and what I learned from the sequoias is that the fire is actually very cleansing, and that the sequoias are designed to be essentially heat resistant, and they actually grow and flourish because of fire. So we were talking just like kind of applying that physiology from a forest perspective to the human body, like our fevers essentially represent a fire in our body. And it was what kills the things that would make us sick, you know, like bacteria and virus. So a forest fire, while it's very devastating, and obviously there's been so many out of control fires in our state in the last couple of years, from a, you know, nature perspective, they're designed to be cleansing and regenerative and to help things like these giant sequoias grow. So it was a really interesting thing to learn about. And just like I said, standing at the base of a 300 tall tree, you just feel pretty insignificant. And that is actually a remarkable way to spend a day.
Yeah,
so anyways, enough about the sequoias. Go check it out. I actually might probably do a podcast on the importance of health in going to the forest. Anyways, I would like to talk about your practice, Monarch Chiropractic. You've been in Nevada for almost 9 years, and I always find it interesting how people choose the name of their practice. So tell me a little bit about Monarch Chiropractic.
Well, I wish it was something that I always dreamed of, but honestly, just like chiropractic was a calling to me, I sat and I downloaded pages of practice names, and I read through about maybe at least 1,000 chiropractic practice names, and not a single one even sparked any kind of joy or connection for me. And so I literally prayed about it, and I tried to quiet myself and quiet the mind and really live within my own space of, you know, asking for answers. So I set it out and I just asked for prayer. And I really feel like one day, like Monarch came, and here we are in California. Monarch has kind of more a, you know, the migration, and they're beautiful, and they really the transformation that they go through. So I created Monarch Chiropractic, Transform Your Health. And I thought, wow, I really love the idea that I want to transform people from the lack of knowledge of health over to really being empowered by their health. And so that whole transformation can be painful. And it's a journey that you have to go through in order to be free and to be the beautiful, healthy butterfly. And so that transition from caterpillar to butterfly is really why I picked Monarch. And when that came together, everything just continued to snowball into place, honestly. Like it just picked up from there. And that's where Monarch came from.
That's a beautiful story and a beautiful metaphor to life, because I know how important it is to meet people where they are. And that's kind of like my passion and my niche is like meeting people where they are, no matter where they are on their journey, meeting them in that moment and ushering them with love and with kindness, and helping them understand that there is something better, and it's not like where they're at is bad or there's any judgment. It's just that there's always more, right?
Right.
And so what I really wanted to talk to you about today is your passion for essentially becoming vegan. And you've introduced me to that this weekend. And I feel like I've eaten more vegetables in the last 3 days than I have in probably the last 3 months. And I actually feel so much better. So tell me how that journey began for you and why you are so passionate about it, because your passion is contagious, and I kind of want to go home and just cook broccoli.
So I have to kind of honestly, I've been in the journey of health and before it was when I was young, and I really have to contribute it to my family. And as much as the story might be like, my family is amazing, but in every family they have issues, whether they want to recognize them or not. But in my family, my grandma had a pretty intense health journey. And so for her, she was really seen as had a lot of mental health. And that to me was something that as a young child, I saw my grandma battle with manic depressive bipolar disorders. And she also had, other metabolic issues with diabetes and other aspects. And same with my grandpa. He really struggled with mental health and also diabetes. And, in the journey that we hear with the medical model is that, well, it's genetic, it's your family. And there's a part of me, and my mom has diabetes and my dad has high cholesterol. And I really thought, no, thank you. And honestly, it was, people telling me, well, that's in your family. And I also just thought, what, that's not going to be my journey. I'm going to choose a different path. And I thought that from a very young age. And I never was somebody that I just wanted to cover up anything. I wanted to heal, and I truly wanted to be healthy. Just like I see in nature, I think that is something that really encompasses me, is that nature didn't get it wrong, and God didn't get it wrong making nature. And so there is a reason for everything. And I wanted to live that. And I wanted to always ask why. So kind of that, well, why? Well, why? And be that little tiny kid and continue that curiosity. And that just continues to lead me down a healthier road. So where that led me is now in my present day, I was healthy for a long time, meaning I was doing what I was told was right. The paleo, eat less carbs, don't eat sugar, don't eat, too much fat, don't eat this, don't eat that. And here I was being healthy. And now at the age of 35, I'm finding myself fighting. I do have stress in my life. I love my kids, but they do demand a lot from me, and it takes a lot. So I had to figure out, how do I balance my stresses in my life with, I have to kind of work harder in the health category, because if I have a stress in my life, I need to kind of counterbalance that with even healthier decisions. So moving, sleeping right, eating right. But some things I can't are out of my control. So my sleeping right now, I have a 3-year-old. She doesn't sleep the best. And so my sleep is a bit compromised. So I get myself adjusted. Thank you to Liz. I got my adjustment this weekend. But having that nervous system in alignment was so important. But then I also need to continue to look at all facets of life that help to be healthy. And so my sleeping may be off because of my children. And so I need to step it up where something else will pick up. So my nutrition, that's something we can always be working on. Every day we have multiple choices to put something in our mouth or not. And a lot of us become captive to emotional and behavioral habits that literally food is so addicting to us, and we just accept it. And I hear it all the time. And I hear it from my own self, honestly, is, oh, I don't like that. Or, oh, that's too hard. And we just shut ourselves down immediately to, and write it off. And, health to me is so important. And I was starting to get those metabolic breakdowns, and noticing it was really hard to get up. So how do I go help people be healthy when I can't even wake up and I have no energy, and even a pot of coffee wasn't helping me? And I was like, well, this isn't working. And it just got to a point where I had to really turn it around and really look at the places that could help to improve my health. And I started to look at the food.
Right.
And I started looking into the food and I was like, well, I'm eating right. I'm doing mostly paleo. And for most people, it's like, well, I'm already pretty healthy.
Can you describe what paleo means? Because maybe somebody listening doesn't know the difference between keto and paleo and vegan and vegetarian. So describe paleo.
So paleo is you're getting your protein. So you're doing animals, no grains, no lentils, no carbs, and you're really eating low glycemic fruits. So like berries and like really like lots of vegetables, and you're still eating meat or protein. So like eggs. And you might see things like bacon and burgers, but with no buns, and, a salad, lettuce, and some avocado.
Got
and
it.
A thing of berries.
So you were eating paleo, but you still weren't feeling great.
No, I was still I was having digestive issues. I was always feeling really sluggish. And so I knew I needed to probably make some changes to my diet. And I didn't really know where. And I had actually an iridology reading, which was someone looking into my eyes and seeing my lymphatic system. So instead of focusing on blood work, it was actually looking at the lymphatics and the difference between the blood. The blood is the life, and it runs through everything else. It runs to all your cells and all your organs. And your lymph also runs through all your cells and organs. And that's kind of like the waste. And if your waste isn't leaving your body, there's something going on. And I noticed my kidneys and my adrenals, my kidneys and my liver were kind of backed up, and same with my digestive system. So my intestines. And I threw these eyes, and that doesn't diagnose, but it does show you weakness. And I thought, wow, my digestive has been, when I think back, my entire life has been backed up.
Interesting. So the iridologist pointed out that you weren't really detoxing very well.
It wasn't no.
Your lymphatic system wasn't cleansing you, because essentially that's what it does.
Yes.
And so you did some research, and what did you find?
So I started to look at where the cleanest people are and where the people are getting the healthiest. And what I mean by the healthiest is not just they feel well. I mean that they are literally finding that they're clearing out things like that are impossible, like MS, Lyme disease, and what else? I mean, just your typical arthritis and irritable bowel, all these things that are just coming up that are so heavy, even aches and pains in your joints. And what that all boils down to is your lymphatic system not draining. And you're basically, in life, there's the balance of alkalinity and acidity. And most of the things that we eat also, we need to be, naturally, our body is alkaline. And we naturally need to be more in an alkaline state. And what happens that most of the food we eat metabolizes into more of an acidic. And acids are very corrosive and burning and hot and destructive. And we need things that are cooler for our body. But most of our diet tends to be very acid forming. And so we just put so much acid into our body. So I started to follow people that were very alkaline driven. And things like cancers and diabetes and all these can't really survive in an alkaline body. It's a healthy place. Like environment has so much to do with whether we're healthy or sick.
Right.
And I was realizing here I am teaching health and my health is declining. And I thought, man, there's more to this. And that's where I started to cut out meat and really focus on meat. I needed enough to believe, because we are so ingrained that meat, we need it to be, strong, to grow our muscles, to all these many, many things. And we need our iron, we need our B12. And I really believe that strongly. And I couldn't let go of the meat. And then I was open to someone give me another conversation, and I'm open to it. I'll never shut that door, because only God truly knows what built for us and how we're supposed to be. Right. So the greater wisdom of the universe, that's I use God and interchangeably with the universe as well. And so that greater knowledge. And so someone kind of gave me another argument of, hey, your body is 98 degrees. And if I was to put a piece of meat outside in 98 degrees and I left it there for 2 days, would you go back and eat it? And I thought, absolutely not. That's absolutely disgusting.
Right.
And then I thought, and he's like, well, then eating it, you are placing a meat in your system that's 98 degrees at that high level. And it takes about anywhere from a day to 3 days to actually fully pass all the way through your system. And I thought, that's disgusting. And there is a huge bacterial influx that has to happen to digest. So literally, once you pass out your stomach, your meat starts to actually need fermentation in order to fully digest. And our tract of our gut is so long. And if we were to take a picture of a tiger or someone that is really a true carnivore, their intestinal tract is a lot shorter. So it doesn't have as long to pass through. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. But the other thing that also helped, so that wasn't gross enough to kind of get me. And then I watched a documentary that really set the fire. But it wasn't just the knowledge that my brain loves to be fed, but it really was the experience that when I decided about 5 months ago now to stop eating meat, and even just sitting here now, I feel like I drank a pot of coffee. My instead of spending so much time on digesting, my body's working on healing and repairing, and I feel so much better. It's easier to wake up in the morning, and my day looks like something that might freak people out, but I wake up, I drink, I think I drink celery juice in the morning, or I do a juice in the morning. And then I actually I started to use intermittent fasting, giving my digestion a break. I started doing celery juice. I actually eat probably like a basket of fruit. So being like a berries in the morning, or I ate like a big container of cherries until I felt satisfied. And then I'll do like a salad without dairy or really heavy salt. And then I do, sometimes I'll do mangoes at night and do that for dinner until I'm completely satisfied. And there's tons of amino acids, which are the building blocks for protein. So instead of eating protein, I'm actually eating the building blocks of protein. So therefore my body can take what it needs and then rebuild it. And I'll take sprouts, and I eat a lot of variety, and there's hundreds of thousands of fruits and amazing vegetables that our body can actually utilize. We are just so depleted in what will nourish us the most. Our stores are very minimal.
Right.
So.
Wow. I know, like just when we were planning our trip, and I was so excited because, we've hung out and our families have hung out before. I mean, you even came down for Thanksgiving last year and we literally had a feast, included a turkey on the Traeger and everything. I was like, how are we going to eat just vegetables all weekend? And I obviously have to confess, I brought chicken and burger for my family because there's no way. Like, I am not on the vegan train as of yet, but I can be convinced because I also am open. And I understand, good arguments, and there's nothing wrong with trying something. So what I can tell you is just this last 2 days of just hardly having any meat, because even though I brought it, I barely ate it because we just didn't have a lot. So just eating more fruits and vegetables over the weekend. Even my kids are like trying the spring rolls and dipping them in the hot sauce. And it was kind of cool because if I, put all vegetables out on the plate and my kids are like, what's for dinner? And so it's a lifestyle change, but it's important to understand that we were given these fruits and these vegetables to nourish our body from our creator. And that hasn't changed.
It hasn't changed.
Something that your husband actually said was funny. He said, maybe it was you, if the largest land animals like elephants and giraffes and cows feed on grass, how come we can't? Like if we're eating that meat and they're eating grass, obviously they're building protein, right? And I'm like, oh, that's a good point. So I know that there's all kinds of arguments, and I'm not saying one size fits all. Right. And I'm not saying that everybody should immediately become vegan. But what I'm saying is this is
too fast.
Yeah, this is an interesting conversation. And what if you just did this for a month or two to give your digestion a break. And then if you decided to eat meat again, you go back and you make sure that your stuff is like clean and organic and grass-fed and all that fun stuff. So it's a cool conversation. And I noticed that your kids are just like craving vegetables all the time, which is something that's fascinating because most kids in this country just want sugar, sugar, sugar. Yeah. My kids included. So I know that we have the power to heal ourselves with the things that we put in our body. You are what you eat, right?
Right. And I think that's a good point, is that we kind of mistake cravings for bad things. And sometimes it can actually be like a craving is something where we wake up and we still really need it. So you go into bed, oh, I'm hungry. And you wake up and you're not hungry anymore. That was more or less toxins, like probably craving and or habits. Whereas if you wake up and you're still kind of wanting something, like sugar is not for our system, but fruit has fructose in it that is alkalizing, that also switches over into glucose that feeds our brain. And we're not feeding our brain enough. And that's where also I could have been depleting my poor brain with doing more of that paleo and really the carb suppression and, oh, careful, those bananas are too high. And I'm realizing like these are really amazing fruits that are delicious for our body. And it really serves us, gives us this energy that we're striving for, that we're going to pay millions of dollars for coffee.
Yeah.
And it's like,
or every other bottle supplement, and supplements are healthy. God knows I, recommend different things in the office when I'm talking to patients. And our nutritionist, Jared, he does this cool Zytoscan, and it kind of lays it out like what's good, what's not good, what you need more of, what you don't need more of. But like I said, everything in moderation, and it's not one size fits all, but why not at least give it a shot,
Even upping the vegetables. Or even the fruit. Like so many people are so scared to eat fruit now, and we're seeing it, and it's starting to be like, careful that fruit, you're going to get diabetes. And I'm a walking proof that, wow, this whole thing, my insulin and my A1C is definitely improving with more fruit.
Interesting.
And so and it's just calming down. We have one stomach. We are not cows. I know that we are thriving since childhood to be like cows with drinking milk every day.
Right.
It's like, we're just not going to be cows. And, we are, constantly like making this array and eating so much, but we have one stomach, and then, it breaks it down, and then we digest. It's like, we just need to simplify, honestly.
I agree. And this whole weekend has been about that. It's been about unplugging. It's been about getting out in nature. I do my best to stay off my phone, but it's so hard because we're all so addicted to the screen. Like I'm constantly checking updates from my practice and making sure I'm responding to text messages and making sure I'm getting those emails checked. And I just really wish that there would be a day and time where I could just feel good about not even checking it. I'm getting there. I know. That'll be a whole nother interview with myself.
Yeah. I think you're doing great. It's little by little. It's not the whole feat. It's just inch by inch.
Amen. And so it's been fun learning how to kind of enjoy cooking. Another thing that I was really reveling in this weekend is the community aspect of food prep, because, with our busy lives, especially us two who work full time and have practices, like, unfortunately, like the practice probably gets the best of us because we have to wake up and give all of ourselves to the patients that we serve, which is the thing that we're passionate about. Yes. But we come home and the people who want us the most, our husbands and our children, essentially get leftovers. If we don't feed ourselves right, we're not going to have the energy to be able to come home and cook dinner. Yeah. And it's not like it's all on us either. Obviously, our husbands are super supportive and definitely can step up in the meal prep. But what was fun this weekend was that we all pitched in, even the kids. Like I got some cute pictures of the girls juicing and helping cut up the celery and the apples and the carrots to make the fresh juice, and like learning how to do this together. And then I told Monica last night, teamwork makes the dream work, because we were able to cook dinner, clean it up, put all the dishes away, and it was like effortless. And it was fun because we were having conversation. And I feel like that community aspect of living and doing life together is sorely missed. So there's a reason why, people lived in these tight little like tribes, right? Back in the day. And now I feel like we're so isolated, even though we're essentially so well connected. Haha, get it? Yeah. Through social media and through being able to instantly connect with just about anybody in the world. The true like unification of community and being in the present moment and just enjoying time is like a lost art. So it was fun this weekend being able to cook meals together and sit outside, enjoy sunshine, and walk in the forest and learn more about being a vegan. So I know this, it was fun. And hopefully all the listeners have been enlightened a little bit about why looking into this vegan diet is something that maybe they want to explore. So how can people get a hold of you? Because I know that I refer people to you in the Bay Area. You're in Nevada, which is in Marin County. So what's your website?
I am monarchchiropractic.co. I do not have the M yet.
Oh, yeah? That's interesting. So you're a company, not a com.
I'm a company.
Okay. Monarchchiropractic.co. Got it. And is there any other parting words you would like to say to anybody?
I think just always keep an open mind and really, as much as you can, keep a mindful eye on your body. Like it is talking to you every day. And we just got to learn the language of the body. And, thank you so much for listening and being here, and just continue to stay open-minded.
Awesome. Well, thanks. That was a fun interview.
Thank you for having me.
This is the first one that I've done kind of remotely, and I love it.
I love it too. We're in a very comfortable place.
We are very comfortable. And the best part is the kids are completely well taken care of.
Yes.
And they're out having fun time in the pool with the husbands, and we're just chilling. I love it. Well, thank you for listening, and look forward to catching you on the next episode of Get Your Head On Straight with Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer.
Thank you for listening to Is Your Head On Straight with your host, Dr. Elizabeth Hoefer. Visit drhoefer.com for more details in the show blog post and to learn what Blair Upper Cervical Chiropractic Care can do for you. That's drhoefer.com, drhoefer.com.